What's up, my fellow traders? Hope you all having an awesome day. A quick one here on nat gas, gold, silver, crude oil, starting with natural gas. So, price did pushed up from this level and hitting an ATR target. If you remember, the price was right here yesterday, and if you look at ATR is 12, and like I mentioned, it did push up more than that, and that was a little scalp, like I mentioned yesterday, and then we had a rejection as well right here. So couple of conditions we need to look for the possible entries, the upcoming entries. But let me show you the clip from my last video so that we can connect the dots from there. So now price did hit the level of resistance right here, but then it pushes back down from a bearish engulfing pattern. Now we do have a double top pattern right here on natural gas, which is right here. So looking at that, I'm not expecting some major moves or big moves, just expecting some pullback. We do have a bullish engulfing pattern, which is something I'm more interested in to take my buy trades all the way from here to here, just go for the little scalp. But it's going to be very risky. If you see here, we have an exact same entry after the pullback, bullish engulfer. After the pullback, we had a bullish engulfer. But due to a big momentum candle and we do not have a strong pullback, that is why I'm reluctant to take this an entry. But again, it is a valid bullish engulfing pattern. If you enter right here, 180 looks like 1220 pips, which is something like this and something like this. So that could be taken as a quick scalp or to the recent highs, which is right here. Perfect. So as you can see, the ATR target has been hit, and with that the price also rejects the recent highs, which is right here. Now there are a couple of conditions I want to mention. We are still bullish. Price is rejecting 20 EMA and the support level as well. With that, we do have a minor symmetrical triangle pattern where we only had two touches, which is right here, and from here we have a rejection 1, 2 and 3 time, makes it a valid symmetrical triangle pattern. Now normally it is something I use for my discretionary trading. I don't have a set in stone rules for that, but normally a breakout above is my entry with a solid close of a candle. A solid candle like this, if we have a breakout above this candle, in that case it is my entry. By keeping my stop loss below the pattern and take profit can be 1 to 1 initially and manage to 1.2 to 1 or 4 to 1 reward to risk ratio. It's totally up to you how you want to take your trades. It is very important to see a close of a solid candle, not a small candle, and it is something I use for my discretionary trading if I want to enter my trades using this pattern. Now looking at the fact we are still above 50 EMA, that is why my bias is more towards the upside. But remember, if you break and close below with a solid candle, in that case I will not take any entries. But instead we are still above 50 EMA. I want to see a bullish engulfing pattern above 50 EMA, which will become a very solid pullback entry after a nice push up. And if you have a nice pullback above 50 EMA, and again, if you are my student, you know what entry pattern is that. A pullback entry with the 6 rules are met, must be above 50 EMA. If you have that, that is one more entry condition, which is the strongest entry condition after a deep pullback. Otherwise, if the next candle turns out to be a bullish engulfer, that's going to be very weak entry, but still a valid buy entry. Again, if that's a candle like this, a very big candle closes above, in that case that will become an invalid pullback entry. So it is good if you look for a pullback entry above 50 EMA at this area, or a breakout above with a solid candle can be an entry with the discretionary approach of my trading. So that is what I'm looking at. Simply, again, I'm still looking at the zone above, which is right here, the numbers in blue, and I want to see a solid double top here, solid bearish engulfer here. Only then I'm gonna go short, which is my aggressive entry, and the trade which I've sent as a trade alert this week. Exact same entry I want to see here on natural gas. The trade I've sent was a forex trade, not a nat gas trade, but conditions applies on all the markets. Now similar pattern here on capital.com as well, but the zone is right here, which is quite far, and keep an eye on these zones, which is 4.844 goes up to 5.366, an area from where I want to enter my sell trades. For now, a symmetrical triangle with 2 touches here at the support of this triangle pattern and 3 touches right here at the resistance of this pattern. Now a solid close will be an entry. Stop loss can be below, take profit can be 1 to 1 or 1.2 to 1, 4 to 1, or manage to this zone. Is totally up to you how you want to manage your trade. Now if you have a solid pullback above 50 EMA followed by bullish engulfer, that is my favorite way of entering the trades, which is my pullback entry. Bullish must happen above 50 EMA. That is all. Simply look for these conditions, nothing else I'm looking at. Still bullish for nat gas, and all I want to see a breakout here on NEMEX as well. Same bullish engulfer above 50 EMA, breakout with a solid candle will confirm an entry, which is again risky, and also the way I use my discretionary approach in my trading. Now less aggressive entry will be a solid break and with a pullback if we have a bullish engulfer after the retest of this triangle pattern, in that case, that is also a less aggressive way after the breakout of this pattern. So keep an eye on these entry. Here on here on gold, we have a nice push up, and now we are still inside a zone. Now, if you remember yesterday, I've said that if that turns out to be a bullish engulfer, that will become a solid head and shoulder pattern, a valid head and shoulder pattern, which did not close as a bullish engulfer. Again, that is not a valid entry. If you are my student, you know that is not a valid pattern. So I was looking at this pattern, which did not close, and then it closes back down below the red candle. Now at this point, we do not have any sort of head and shoulder pattern, but if we have some more pullback price from a pattern within this rejection box, in that case, I will look for my buy trade. So keep an eye on this rejection box, which is right here. As you can see, these numbers in blue. If it's some more pullback price from the bullish engulfer here, in that case, that will be a valid entry condition for buy trades. In that case, I'll keep my stop loss below the pattern. Take profit can be 1-to-1 initially. Now, if the price breaks above 2930.50 with a solid close, that also confirms that the price is now going to push up from here, and with the breakout, that is a less aggressive entry by keeping a stop loss below. Take profit again can be 1-to-1 initially. So that is all we are looking at. Breakout will confirm the upward movement, and the close is very important. Otherwise, pull back to this rejection box with the bullish engulfer is my entry condition. So breakout, pullback, bullish engulfer will be a less aggressive entry. Just a breakout, close will be an aggressive entry. It's totally up to you how you take your trades. Next up, we have silver. Now we have a take profit hit, and I've shown you when the trade was running and the entry right here, which I've already mentioned in my previous video. Both played out perfectly fine. That is what we call patience and taking your trades with conditions. So let's see the clip from my last video. Silver is forming head and shoulder pattern. We have a left shoulder, we have a head, we have a right shoulder, rejection from here. Now, for your entries, what do you want to see? Simply mark your termination zone exactly like this. Now you can see these numbers in blue. That is how my termination zone looks like. All I want to see, a pullback in the termination zone. That is all. We are not looking for sell trades anymore. Once we have a pullback, if the price forms bullish engulfer exactly like this, or a pin bar, or a 382 candle, that is all I'm looking at. If that happens, we are good to go long. And what do we have? After the hit of termination zone, price from a clear bullish engulfing pattern. 180 target has been hit, but I've chose to set up a bigger target and manage my trade something like this and keep my trade running till my take profit, which is right here, and manage my trade all the way up, secure some profits and move risk free. So that is how I take my trades and do my risk management. So for silver, we are bullish now. I'm expecting a price to push higher even further. Perfect. So as you can see, with the condition, we had a head and shoulder pattern followed by bullish engulfer. For the students, a shout out. It is a valid head and shoulder pattern, and that is how we take an entry using exact rules of head and shoulder pattern. Hitting the take profit right here, a nice 1.8 to 1 reward to risk ratio was a target, and that is an insane amount of money here on silver. Now, simply I want to see a break and close above these highs. Once we have a close, I want to see a pullback and a pullback entry bullish. That is all I'm looking at, or a pullback fall to 50 EMA bullish engulfer. That is all I'm looking at. So these are the two conditions I want to see. Nothing else here on silver. Just buy trades, but with the conditions I've just mentioned. Lastly, we have crude oil. Crude oil just came back in the zone, and we are still intact with this zone. Now, just mark your rejection box like this and just look for the possible double bottom pattern. We have a first bottom. All I want to see a red and a green engulfing candle, or a green pin bar, or just a pin bar candle. That is all I want to see. A 382 bullish candle within this rejection box, a next candle. If we have that, we have a minor double bottom at the major support. Stop loss can be placed below the zone. Take profit can be 1-to-1, manage to 1.2 to 1, 4-to-1 reward to risk ratio. With that, if we also are getting a nice RSI divergence, which is right here, and right here makes it a very strong entry if we have a double bottom pattern with this divergence. So keep looking for the next entry. Signals are very important. Once we have a buy signal only, then I'm going to go long, which is my bullish engulfer, or a 382 or a pin bar candle within this rejection box. If the price closes below this low with a solid red candle, in that case we have a trend continuation, and price will likely to push down and crash to the next level of major support, which I'm going to mention in my upcoming video. So keep an eye and let's see how the next candle opens and closes. So that is it for today's video. Hope you're learning from analysis. If yes, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, so that we can all trade together and trade efficiently. Hope you trade green. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have an awesome weekend.